What's good with the veterans, military? Welcome back again with another banger. It's 2025. VA disability pay rates are out. The VA rating increases are out. But hey, do not rush the VA disability claims process. In this video, we're going to be going over some of the concepts and some of the reasons why and recommendations and how to get service connected. Let's jump into it. A lot of veterans, they want to rush the process. They want to rush things. Not just veterans, regular people too. They want to rush through things. They want to get to the end. And then when they get to the end and it's not the result that they want, they're looking around and trying to find someone to blame. However, when you flip it around and you take the time, you take the patience to understand something, to do it right the first time, to be successful. And then when you are successful and you get the result that you do want, then we start to look at ourselves and we say, okay, hey, we're grateful for the time we spent, the struggles, the many amount of hours combing through denied VA claims online and stuff like that. But the first thing that the VA is going to do on those veterans who try to rush the process, they're going to deny that claim immediately. And what they're going to send you, a decision letter of all the details, why they denied you. But if your first claim or if it's your 40th claim, hey, you want to be organized with it. You don't want to just keep throwing stuff at the wall because you're not going to get service connected for it. And you're building this, stigma, which goes into the second reason or, the second issue is if you're putting in multiple failed claims, you're creating a discrepancy and an inconsistency with your medical profile. So you can go in and say one thing, and then you're probably saying something different on a CMP exam. You're probably saying something different every time you go in to see your therapist, your psychiatrist, your physical therapist, whatever the case may be. If you're not saying consistent, if you're not being organized and taking the time and putting patience towards your VA disability claim the first time, you're going to get denied multiple times. And you're building inconsistencies in your claim that could just raise a red flag with the VA and they'll just deny your claim immediately because they're going to be, okay, hey, it's Vet Debo coming here again with his PTSD claim, with his migraines. And he doesn't have a diagnosis. He still hasn't seen a psychiatrist. They haven't identified his stressor for his PTSD, but yet he still keeps submitting claim after claim after claim. Yeah, it's the VA's duty to assist, to review that veteran's medical profile, to give them and render a diagnosis if needed, depending on the medical evidence. If the medical evidence is clear, sound, and is consistent, even without a diagnosis, I've seen veterans get service connected for multiple disabilities only on a CMP exam, and then they'll take that back to their doctor and get enhanced, medical treatment and stuff like that once they do get service connected. But those who try to rush the process, they're just denied, and then they build this resentment towards the VA, and then they start throwing that resentment towards other veterans. And then what are they going to do? Try to do the same thing. Just keep throwing claims at the VA, expecting to get service connected, expecting what? To get paid. We all trying to get paid. It's 2025. We're trying to get paid. You know what I'm talking about? But let me take a sip. Takes us to the next point. If you put in a claim, if you already have a VA disability rating, say you're at 50%, you got migraines at 30, you got tinnitus at 10, and then you get 20% for your knee. Cool. Now you're trying to put in a new claim, but you're trying to rush the process. You don't have a diagnosis. You have bare minimum medical evidence, and you're hoping to get an increase on something. And then when the VA looks at your stuff, they say, okay, cool. We noticed that you haven't been maintaining medical evidence for your migraine, so we're actually going to reduce that. From 30 to possibly 10 or 0%, depending on what is in your medical profile. Like, do they still see complaints? Do they still see you taking medication? Do they still see you complaining to your doctor? Stuff like that, different treatment options and stuff. Migraines, for example, or anything mental health, they're going to see if you're attending your scheduled routine visits. It could be daily. It could be weekly. Not daily. It could be daily. It depends on your level of severity. But are you attending your frequency? How are you agreed upon your therapist? If you're not, they're going to be, okay, we're going to reduce you from a 70% rating to a 50%. The best thing to do to reduce or mitigate or reduce that risk of possibly getting reduced is maintain medical evidence across the board on the disabilities that you are service connected for, as well as if you're trying to get in for an increase, you may have to do a little bit more. You have to consult the CFR 38, your decision letter, the M21-1 adjudication manual, and resources. You got Reddit, you got TikTok, we got YouTube. Come on, YouTube, baby, flex on them. But I digress. You minimize the risk of being reduced, and then make smart and calculated claim decisions. So if you're planning on submitting secondaries on claims, make sure that your medical evidence for the primary is lock solid. And I would take it a step further to see if that specific disability, is it static, is it permanent? So if it's permanent, game on, baby. It can never be reduced unless you claim VA claims fraud and stuff like that. But a static disability has potential, especially if it's a 10% or 20%, and you're trying to tack on something that could build it. A secondary could be a 50% or higher. So sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. And then the last one is the wrongfully, like just being wrongfully discriminated in the claims process. It's not really vocal, but if a veteran puts in multiple claims for like PTSD, for example, and the story changes every time, then a claim specialist or a different claim specialist, it could be a new one, it could be a seasoned one. They review your entire claims profile, portfolio, however you want to call it, and then they'll make a determination. Okay, this veteran's lying, or this veteran just don't know how to get their story right. Denied, denied, denied. Or they'll probably give you the benefit of the doubt. Not all the time that happens. A lot of times veterans will put in a claim, immediately denied, or they'll wait 9 months and then it's still denied. And then they're just waiting there like, what? Come on, bucko, come on. So we definitely got to be organized in the claims process. Slow it down. Always take the path less traveled. Take your time, be patient, be organized. And some of the foundations of a good claim, you have to have a diagnosis. It needs to be from service. So if you're trying to get direct service connection, you need in-service complaints. So how do you prove that? Through your medical profile history, whether it be military records or private records while you were attending the military. And if you are still active duty, I recommend, if you're not comfortable going the military medical route, going to sick call, go to medical outside in town. Pay that couple extra dollars to get a diagnosis and get your need taken care of. Because I'm sure there's a lot of staff and walking around with bum knees and backs, and they're scared to go into medical because they want to tack on another chevron, another rocker. For what reason? What reason? I mean, yeah, you're building medical evidence for that claim, but if you're not being seen for it, you're never going to get service connected. Until next time. This motherfucking D-ball, y'all say Gucci with it. You understand me?